Greg Abbott says Democrats opposing deportations are doubling down on losses. And that's absolutely true. The people have spoken, overwhelmingly voted for MAGA, overwhelmingly voted for Trump, overwhelmingly voted to deport these illegal immigrants, sorry. And the Democrats could care less what the people want. They want to continue to supplement and take in everyone from around the world, which makes absolutely no sense, especially while our own American citizens are suffering here. So we're gonna talk about it, but before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from the Washington Examiner, and they report that Governor Greg Abbott argued that Democratic lawmakers who oppose the incoming Trump administration's deportation plans will only experience more losses at the ballot box, as they are going against what most voters ask for. Immigrants want this. Majority of Americans want, most people want this. We want to protect our home first, our homeland first, before we go out and try to bring in other people and accept other people and give handouts to other people. The president-elect Donald Trump has said he intends to declare a national emergency to carry out mass deportations of illegal immigrants, which would include using the military. Ahead of Trump and his cabinet being sworn in next year, several Democratic governors and mayors, such as Governor Katie Hobbs from Arizona, J.B. Pritzker from Illinois, and Boston Mayor Michelle Wu, vowed to oppose those deportations, which the Texas governor soundly rebuked. So let's play the clip here. Here we go.
Great to be back. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Bill Maloogian reported 1.4 million migrants that are under deportation removal orders in Texas. It's very interesting, and I want to take a look at this soundbite. Actually, this is your land commissioner Don Buckingham talking about 1,400 acres in Texas that are going to be used as part of the deportation process. Watch this.
What I care about is that we have safe communities, and there is no doubt that we are losing too many of our children to these violent criminals that are coming across the border. I am 100% on board with the Trump administration's pledge to get these criminals out of our country, and we are more than happy to offer our resources to facilitate those deportations of these violent criminals.
So, Governor, tell me, what will this land be used for? What will it look like?
So right now, the land is being used to have another border wall built on that land by the state of Texas. But using this land for deportation purposes is just part of a multitude of strategies that we're involved in. One is, as we speak right now, there are more orange buoys that are being put into the Rio Grande River to deny illegal entry. Second thing is we are working to make sure that we're going after the criminals that Don Buckingham was talking about. That's why I declared Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization, so that we would be able to muster every single law enforcement tool in the state of Texas to go after them and arrest them. We've made hundreds of arrests of Tren de Aragua, which is working to expand across the country. But we're making it clear that Tren de Aragua made a mistake when they tried to put a foothold in the state of Texas.
And I think it's somewhere around, I think I read something like around 16 states have Tre de Aragua. I'm sorry, I can't say the name. In their states, 16 states. So they definitely got their foothold in certain states. And Abbott is basically saying we're not going to play that. Out of all the border states, Texas is doing the best at trying to stop the influx of these illegal immigrants. That's one good thing that I really like about Greg Abbott. He's not playing about that border.
So we heard Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, and
Brandon
this is
Johnson.
Katie Hobbs. Even after the election,
I can't stand Brandon Johnson. And Chicagoans are going out there protesting and letting it be known that they do not accept what he's doing, these handouts and accepting all these illegal immigrants when their own city is suffering. It makes absolutely no sense. And he could care less about the people that voted for him and put him in office.
these states are still pushing back. And I know you told me in the break that the Biden administration is also already trying to stop what you're doing with these buoys. So here's Katie Hobbs of Arizona.
We will not be participating in misguided efforts that harm our communities. It tears families apart, and that's not gonna happen on my watch.
What we can do is make sure that we are doing our part to protect our residents in every possible way, that we are not cooperating with those.
Hold on. How is allowing criminals to remain in your city or in your state, how is that protecting the citizens? Please tell me that. How is that protecting the citizens?
Efforts that actually threaten the safety of everyone by causing widespread fear.
What do you make of it, Governor?
They're doubling down on the reasons why they lost the election.
Yeah.
Right.
What the Americans demanded were, for one, safe communities, but for another, to stop the illegal immigration into our country, especially of those who pose great dangers, in whether it be in Arizona, whether it be in Massachusetts, or other places across the country where they're not going to be cooperating with ICE, with the border czar, with any effort to remove very dangerous criminals. They're going to see more crimes in their cities, and they're going to see more losses at the ballot box because Americans are angry about this. And these office holders, they're going to have to be responding to that anger.
I want to ask you about these bills with regard to China, but I just want to get a little more clarity on these deportation centers that they're going to be built on this property. Is that the understanding?
Well, listen, the deal, all of that's going to be up to the Trump administration and where they want to use what strategy. The reality is that a lot of the people being deported, they're going to be deported from New York, from California.
Flown out on planes.
Yeah, flown out on planes, going elsewhere. And so we just want to make sure that the Trump administration understands we are here to help, whether it be to deny illegal entry, whether it be to arrest those who are here illegally, whether it be to assist in the deportation process.
All right, let's talk about what you're doing aimed at the Chinese Communist Party in Texas to make sure that they don't have a foothold, which in a lot of places they already do.
Right.
Tell me about it.
So many Americans are unaware that China specifically targets states in the United States to undermine what's going on in the United States of America. Yeah. They have been in Texas going after Chinese dissidents who left China, and they are legally in the state of Texas now.
And they set up police stations in places like New York. The CCP, China, have their own police stations for years. And it's crazy that they can come in, set up shop, and nothing happens to them in places like New York. It's crazy.
And they have these local police stations set up where run by Chinese going after the Chinese in the state of Texas.
Tell people how they did that. I mean, I know about it, but you know, there are Chinese police stations set up in Texas.
In Houston.
Wow.
How did they get away with that?
Well, for one,
we don't allow other countries' law enforcement to act within our borders.
So they have no law enforcement effect for Texas or Texans. Yeah. They think they have a law enforcement effort for the Chinese who are in Houston, Texas, but that's being shut down. And so once we learned about it, working with the federal government, the FBI, people like that, we're able to identify it and work to shut it down. So we have the Chinese going after people. We have the Chinese going after intellectual property. We have the Chinese going. We have the largest power grid in the United States in the state of Texas. They would potentially be able to attack our power grid and shut down Texas. If they do that, they would also shut down the largest energy sector in the United States. We rank number 3 in the world for oil production. And if they brought all that to a halt, it would be devastating for the operational purposes of the United States of America. So we're on the front lines of having to guard against this potential Chinese attack, which is why we are redoubling our efforts to arrest anybody in the state of Texas who's posing any type of China problem whatsoever by making sure that our universities, our investments, all things like that are being walled off from China.
It takes a coordinated effort because there are so many different ways that they're trying to penetrate. And you've been on top of it since the beginning, Governor. Thank you very much for joining us today. I know there are a couple of counties in Texas that had never voted Republican that went Republican in this last election. There was talk that.
Wow. And he's doing, Abbott is doing commendable work as far as protecting Texans and protecting our borders and protecting the United States as a whole. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.